I'm Stacy Grinsfelder.
And I'm Daniel Cantor.
And you're listening to True Tales from Old Houses, the Minisode.
The shorter one.
Hi, Daniel.
Hi, Stacy. How you doing?
I'm good. It's been a chaotic couple of weeks, and I'm really happy to see your smiling face and to spend this time with you.
Likewise. It's nice to see you back home, at least. You were remote last time.
Yeah. Hey, before we dive into this, I just want to thank Sutherland Wells because they are supporting the minisodes of True Tales from Old Houses this season.
So cool. Thank you guys for deciding to support our little episodes.
Somebody's got to help us keep the lights on around here, right?
Yes, exactly. At our corporate offices.
I have an apology to make. Well, I have two apologies. Can you believe it? I'm starting out this minisode with two apologies.
You worry too much. Go on.
Okay. One is an apology, one's a clarification. The apology is that for the bonus minisode that we did a couple weeks ago, the sound on my mic was a little off. And the reason why was I think I had the input set incorrectly. And I was actually picking up the mic from my laptop and not my good mic. So that's why the sound was a little wacky. I don't know if anybody did you notice that when you listened?
A little. I mean, I was like, I sound fine. She sounds a little off. But yeah. I thought it was just because it was like your traveling microphone or something. It didn't bother me.
Anyway, for some reason, this season has been somewhat cursed. I guess I use that term loosely.
Already?
I know. I'm like, we're 2 episodes in and I screwed it up. I screwed things up with Caitlin. I had the mic set incorrectly as we were talking the first time. That's why I mentioned that we had recorded the interview twice.
Did you mention that?
I think I did. I don't know. This is getting more chaotic by the minute.
Made the cut.
Okay, I'll have to go back and listen.
Let's trace back our steps. No, I don't know. I thought they all sounded fine, and we're a DIY shop.
We are a DIY shop. So the other thing I was going to say is that I have a correction. So not an apology. This is the correction. Remember last episode we were talking about being blinded by the light? Remember that?
Yes.
I was talking about. I feel so dumb.
Another runner in the night. What? Sorry.
That's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Classically trained.
Yes.
We can't sing more than that or we have to get clearance.
Right. Well, I had a message from JP. She took that trip to Canada with me, and I'll be darned if she didn't clarify something that I should have known in the first place. And that is that, of course, light travels faster than sound. So what actually happened was everybody saw the giant flash of light from the Halifax explosion. They ran to the windows to see what happened. The explosion actually happened and blew the glass in their eyes, which in turn blinded them.
Oh, because the sound waves broke the glass, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't. We're getting a little too sciencey for that.
I think what it is, so the explosion happens generating the big light. You see that like immediately, and then the reverb from the sound would travel after that, like with thunder, right? And
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Break out the windows, I think. Well, let us know, physicists.
They were not blinded by the light. They were blinded by the glass.
Right, which sounds a lot more painful.
Oh, it sounds terrible. It just sounds horrific. Yeah. So I suppose you could still be blinded by an eclipse, which is technically light, but that is not what happened in the case of the Halifax explosion.
Okay. So feel free to stare at explosions. Don't stand near glass.
I would say do neither. If I had to I had to clarify. If I had to clarify, I would say do neither. Okay. Anyway, that's like the housekeeping junk that I have for this minisode. This is riveting, right? So far, I've been like groveling and then explaining science poorly.
I like bold conjecture about science that we just have no idea.
Right. I mean, this is not a science podcast. It's a podcast about old houses.
Unless it's about tongue oil or,
okay, so it's a little bit science related.
Sustainable wood repair. We do science in our own way. Material science, I think they call it. I don't know.
Good point. Absolutely good point. Yeah. On combustible, sometimes we talk about combustibles, which is technically science.
Sure.
Yeah.
And explosions, bringing it all the way back around.
All right.
So,
Let's leave this topic behind because I'm not doing it any more justice than I've done it
We
already.
are out of our depths.
What have you been up to?
Oh gosh. Well, I have sort of a bummer update. There's no great story, but I feel like it's the reality. So, last time I told you very excitedly about how the wood floors were getting refinished over at the cottage and how that was going to be so exciting and,
Right.
one of the very, very, very few things that I hire out. And it has not gone very well.
I am so sorry. What's happened?
Uh, well, okay. So I will preface by saying I actually feel like I did everything right. I got multiple quotes. This was a person who was recommended. His price was good, but not alarmingly low or anything. Sometimes when you get a really low bid, you're like, oh, they probably don't know what they're doing. But so it was a solid in the middle bid, many years of experience, blah, blah, blah. I don't, Stacy. It's not great.
What happened?
I guess problem number one is particularly on the first floor, which is weird because the first floor is all new flooring. I put it in. And so it really just needed a light sand. It didn't need a whole crazy. And he definitely went way hard on all of the edging. So
no.
It's pretty uneven, which I'm not happy about. And then on top of it, I wanted a water-based poly, satin finish, just kind of, that's pretty much what I always do. And they are so shiny.
Oh no.
Gymnasium level shiny. Luckily, he at least agrees that this is not how satin finish is supposed to look. And then there's always that delicate thing of I do actually know what happened here, but I don't want to tell you that I know because it's your fault and that will damage your ego if I so it's that delicate balance. I'm almost certain what happened. He used a water-based poly. I'm used to Bona products, which is a 2-part, so you add this hardener and that sort of activates it. He used this product that just comes in a gallon, and what I have read is that polyurethane sort of on its own is glossy. And then to achieve matte or satin, they add flattening agents to it, and those settle at the bottom of the can, which is why it's very, very important to mix your poly because it will work fine. If you don't mix it, it'll just be super glossy. So I'm pretty certain that's what happened. He trying to tell me they mislabeled the cans at the factory. I'm all right, man. So it's really annoying and just I don't even really know what to do. So I thought about it for a day or two, and then he did 2 coats of poly on the first floor. So I was and those were, it really needed 3, and they were also looking very shiny, but they needed more finish as well. So I was let's do a coat of matte on top of the 2 layers of satin that you've done that you clearly didn't mix well enough. And then let's see how that looks. And it does look better. It's still not what I would consider a satin finish. So this morning he came and I asked that he buff the floors on the second floor and then put down a coat of matte. I don't know if he did the buffing part, but I guess he did the poly part. And I'm so fed up.
Yeah.
Because it's so frustrating when it's one of those things that I hired this thing specifically in part because I don't really like doing it, but there's all kinds of things I don't really like doing that I do. It was really because the professionals will do a better job than I will do.
Should do a better job.
Right. And so seeing the work, it's okay, I know for a fact that I can do better than this because I have done better than this. So what the heck? It's so disappointing and so irritating because it's just this should not be complicated. And you are a professional floor refinisher. And I have not asked for anything crazy. It's just water-based polyurethane, which is what pretty much everyone uses now. It's just what the heck.
I am so sorry. I am so
It's
sorry.
okay.
I don't understand how mixing is the thing they forgot.
Especially because it's this is all you do.
Right.
And the weird part too was that the person who recommended him had just in a week before had him redo her floors. And I actually went over to her project a couple days ago and saw them, and they look great. And it was
Same product?
It was same exact product. So
Interesting.
I don't know. And it's just, I swear something is wrong in that house with just every single thing I've tried to hire out has just kind of blown up in my face. And hilariously, like, I told him that when he came for the quote, I was like, I swear, like, I'm easy to work with. I'm nice. I pay on time. Like, I'm good. But please don't let me down because something about this house, every contractor, like, there's a problem. And then I felt really stupid for bringing that up because I was like, if somebody told that to me, I would be like, okay, you're the problem. Like, easy answer. But yeah, something's really just something's off. I don't know.
You need to smudge that place with some sage or something, right?
I know. And the duplex as well needs to be saged.
Maybe you can call somebody from Lilydale and ask them if they can
maybe
make the trip over to just cleanse. It's that property, right? Oh, I'm so sorry. That's so disappointing.
Do you have any mobile mediums?
Oh my gosh, that is a business idea for someone right there. If you were a medium, be a mobile medium and just wrap your van in that or what would a medium drive, you think?
Like a Volkswagen Vanagon, probably.
I think you're right. I think that makes a lot of
with
sense.
The pop top. Yeah.
100%.
Oh my gosh, speaking of mobile shops, I have to talk to you about something.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I was watching your Instagram stories like I guess a few weeks ago, and you were talking about how you were home alone for the first time in 20 years or so, and you discovered a TV show, which I immediately went to watch, and it is called The Wizard of Paws, Paws.
The Wizard
and
of
I think
Paws.
It's the best thing that I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh. It is so cute. Yeah, I got sucked in and I just could not stop watching. All right, so let me tell everybody, if you don't know what The Wizard of Paws is about, it is the cutest show, maybe the best thing ever, as Daniel said. And it's actually it's a reality show. I think it's on the Animal Planet or National Geographic.
I think it was Nat Geo.
Okay, Nat Geo. Remember. Anyway, it follows this man. His name is Derek Campana. I don't know. It didn't have the tilde on the end. Derek Campana. He makes prosthetics for animals like dogs and cats. And your very favorite, I'm sure, must have been probably what? The mini horse?
Tiny horse.
Tiny horse.
I think it's the first episode. There's a tiny, he's like a miniature horse. He's like the size of a German Shepherd. He's so tiny. And he has something wrong with his ankles. And so he gets 4 leg braces, and then he can run and jump and
you sound like you're gonna cry.
Tiny. Oh my gosh. My heart exploded. And then there's a duck that has a messed up leg, and he gets 3D printed a new little flipper that gets like harnessed to his little mangled leg. Oh my God. It's
so cute.
There's nothing better.
I watch a lot of those vet shows, and all of them talk about birds. They're like, okay, if a bird can't walk on his legs, then we have to euthanize it. If a bird can't walk, it's gone. And then I see The Wizard of Paws, and now all I can think of is, why don't you make that little chicken a prosthetic leg? Derek can do that.
Yeah. He can 3D print one right up.
It's so cute. And I love when he makes the prosthetics with like lightning bolts or little rainbows. So there was one episode, I don't know if you saw this, but there was a little girl, she was maybe 6 or something, and she wore leg braces. And then they had this dog that he made leg braces for, and he made matching leg braces. It was
Stop it.
So
I don't
cute.
think I got that far. I haven't seen the whole thing, but no, it's okay. It's not like high stakes drama where spoilers are really a problem, but
right.
Yeah, and watching him make the stuff is really cool. That's why I brought it up, because he has like a mobile shop. It's like a big kind of trailer that's all like kitted out inside, and he can make all these molded plastic things on site. So I think I don't totally understand how it works, but it seems like he goes out to places, will take like a mold, and then kind of go back to the trailer and like make some stuff and then do a test fit, and like it sort of allows him to work faster, I guess. And gosh, it's so exciting.
And once I went down that rabbit hole, I started looking more into his work. And apparently he used to make prosthetics for humans, and then he switched over to making them for animals. So, and that's a degree, like a college degree. Like I guess you would go
Right.
and you would learn about body mechanics, you would learn about biology, just
Yeah,
everything.
like
And then you learn how to make prosthetics. Interesting.
it's so technical, and so yeah, it's just really, aside from being like the most adorable thing of all time, it's also super interesting because like with animals, they don't know what's happening. So with a human, you can strap on a new leg and be like, try to walk. But with the animal, like they're like, why is this thing on me? And then there's this moment where like they kind of put weight on it for the first time, and you can sort of see it click, and it's like,
Oh my gosh.
goosebumps. It's the best.
And I feel like old house people and animal lovers overlap a lot, right?
Absolutely. Especially like animals with like, a missing foot. Because like my house has whatever the house version is of a missing foot.
We like seemingly lost causes.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Very cute.
Wizard of Paws. So yeah, check that out. Streaming app of wherever it is.
All right. Well, I have something that we need to circle back to that we promised listeners of the bonus minisode that we would talk about. But before we do that, we just need to take a quick break.
Quick break. Yes.
True Tales from Old Houses minisodes are supported by Sutherland Wells. Thank you, Sutherland Wells.
Thank you, guys.
All of the Sutherland Wells products are handcrafted in Providence, Rhode Island with the highest quality, sustainably grown tung oil. Tung oil, as you know, is native to China and has been used for centuries as a durable finish for wood, metal, and stone.
Unlike polyurethane, tung oil finish penetrates the surface of the wood, so it flexes and contracts as conditions change, which makes it the perfect pre-finish or protectant for everything from fine furniture to window sash and sills.
So I was taking a peek at their website because last season we talked a lot about a fun product called Slicky Wiki. Remember that?
Slicky Wiki, of course.
Slicky Wiki,
We'll never forget. Yes.
You can use that to lubricate window jambs and the sides of your windows so that your sash moves up and down freely. And that is now available on the website, which makes me very excited.
Oh, yay.
They have a couple of other new products as well. But no matter what you need, Sutherland Wells has an entire product line for whatever you're working on right now. Siding, hardwood floors, furniture restoration, cutting boards, you name it.
So to learn more about the complete product line, visit Sutherland Wells, WELLES, sutherlandwells.com. And to save 10% on your first order, use the coupon code TRUETALES.
All right, we're back, and I just want to encourage everyone to definitely use our coupon code, support our sponsors. As I mentioned in the beginning of this episode, they do keep the lights on around here.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. Now it is time, Daniel, for us to get back to something we mentioned in the bonus minisode, because you have some explaining to do, young man.
Uh-oh. About what did I do? What?
The listeners would like to know why you were deported from Canada.
Oh, okay. I'll try to make it pretty brief. And I guess I should preface by saying, like, this story is kind of like privilege, because everything's fine and everything's fine. But, okay, so when I was in high school, I applied for college, as people do, and I did not get into any of the colleges I wanted to go to, and also had no idea like what I wanted to study. And I don't know, 17, 18-year-old me was like, well, I don't really want to go to like 4 years of school for the sake of doing it, but like not have any sense of what kind of career I wanted to have. So at the time, I thought that I wanted to work in the film industry, like on the production side. And I didn't really know much about what that entailed. And I don't even really remember what the connection was, but we were in some way, my dad in some way was connected to a small film production company in Regina, Saskatchewan. Regina is the capital city of Saskatchewan and the second largest city. So this was like 2008, and at the time, the government of Saskatchewan was offering a lot of tax credit, like tax incentives for film production to take place in the province as a economic boon to the territory. So Saskatchewan is actually it's a beautiful place, and it has you can fake a lot of different places within Saskatchewan or the surrounding area. So like Winnipeg is in Manitoba, but it's like right next door kind of. So we shot something that was set in New York City, and they could sort of fake New York City in Winnipeg.
I see.
In Saskatchewan, they have prairies, they have mountains, they have buttes, which is a thing. They have, I don't know, lots of different types of things you can shoot.
Sure.
Anyway, that is the preface on why it was actually a pretty robust but small film industry there. And so I became an intern. I moved there, and the point was to take what they called a gap year between high school and college to work and explore, and I don't know.
We still call it a gap year.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I'm not of the youth anymore. So I go and I move into this apartment and I start interning at this company, and I'm, doing I was doing stuff they had just filmed this TV show, and I, as the resident youth, was in charge of the YouTube marketing for the show. And so I cut together these 3 to 4 minute kind of previews of all of this footage, and it was a reality show that was shot by the people also starring in the show, and so it was like hundreds of hours of footage. I would transcribe interviews. It was really a lot of boring work, but that's where you start.
In podcasting, that's also where you finish. You have basically described my job. Thank you very much.
Doesn't the AI transcribe at this point? I don't know.
Go ahead.
I had to do it all manually. I had a pair of Sony headphones, and I would sit there and type as fast as I could, but I'm not a super fast typist. So I have various internee jobs. And then the deal was I didn't qualify for a student visa, and because this was basically unpaid, they gave me a little stipend, but it was basically unpaid. I also didn't qualify for a work permit. So I was just there as a visitor. And the subtlety of all of that was completely lost on me, but all I knew really was I just have to leave once every 6 months and then come back. And
okay,
that's what's going to happen this year. So I left in November and went to visit my friend in Portland for a weekend, and I had just moved into this new apartment that I was so excited about. It was so rad. And I go away for a weekend, just pack a little bag, and then I flew back to the great nation of Canada through Calgary, because there aren't a lot of direct flights to Regina. You have to connect somewhere usually. And so I flew in really late and get to customs, and what is the purpose of your visit? And I'm interning at this film company in Regina, and what do you do there? And I make these little videos for YouTube, and I transcribe interviews, and I try to sort of explain what I'm doing, but I'm also very proud of what I'm doing, because I'm so it's probable that I actually made it sound like I was doing more than I was. So anyway, this customs agent, I will never ever forget her face, her name. She then tells me, okay, you got to go over there. And over there is immigration, where you're in a room. And so I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird, but all right, whatever. And so there's not that many agents. It's late at night. So I sit there and I sit there and I sit there until everybody has gone through customs. And then she comes in and she's like, well, I can't let you in. And I'm like, what? Pardon? What? And she's like, well, you are taking a job that could go to a Canadian citizen, and that's illegal.
Oh no.
So yeah, I can't grant you entry to Canada. And I was like, but I just rented a new apartment. All my stuff is there. And she's like, sorry. And I'm like, okay. And it's at this point, it's probably 1 or 2 in the morning. I'm sort of frantically calling home, but it's super late, and so no one's picking up. And basically, she told me, give me your or she already had my passport. So I'm going to keep this, and you will be on the first flight back to the United States. And I'm like, but I live in Washington, D.C. Well, it's just the first flight back to the States. We don't care where it is. We're just putting you on a plane.
Did you end up in El Paso or something?
No, luckily it was Denver. So it was, a hub airport. I think it was Denver. So yeah, she said, you're going to be on this. You're going to go to the airport hotel. You are going to stay in your room. You are going to meet a immigration agent at the airport at, I think, 5:30 in the morning or something. And that's when you will be given your passport back. And if you do not show up, a warrant will be issued for your arrest. And like, Stacy, you know me now, but I looked like I was like 14. Like I was just this tiny little thing. I had like Justin Bieber hair, totally like ridiculous. They're going to arrest me. So I was terrified. I went to the hotel. I don't think I slept at all because I was so nervous that I wouldn't wake up on time. So I just sort of sat in my room and like rocked. And at some point I talked to my mom and she's like, oh no. So I just got shipped home and then it was, I don't know.
So what's the ending to this?
Well, I'm sorry. So the ending was...
I'm sorry, that wasn't a forced, like, cut to the chase, mister. Cut to the chase.
I'm pretty sure I said, I'll try to make this fast. And then I'm like, So we figured out something where I believe I basically got a work visa as an agent of my dad's company or a company my dad was affiliated with or something, as essentially like overseeing this investment, or I wish I even knew, but it was something to that effect.
You let the grown-ups work out the details is what I'm hearing.
More or less, yeah. And then
Gotcha.
And so then, we made sure I flew back into Regina directly, did not stop in Calgary. And once this kind of thing happens, you're like flagged in a system. So for years, anytime I would go anywhere in Canada, I just automatically get pulled into immigration. My bags get searched. I have to answer a bunch of questions. And at a certain point, I was like, how long are we going to do this? Because, I barely did anything wrong the first time. And, seems a little dramatic. And they were like, oh, it's 7 years. So, and I think it really was 7 because now it seems to be fine. But for 7 years, going into Canada was like the most stressful thing. And to this day, I'm terrified whenever I go through customs, for even when I'm just coming home to my own country.
Right.
Oh God, what's going to happen? So anyway, that is how I got deported from the nation of Canada.
Canada.
I'm not proud, but I'm not proud.
I get that. That's so Daniel. I love it.
To be deported from a country before your 20th birthday really feels like I've lived.
You got your adulthood started off right.
Right.
Thank you for giving the listeners what they wanted.
You are so welcome.
Anyway, we have to say goodbye for today. We didn't really hit much on old house stuff today. We really have to bring this train back to the station at some point.
Do we? Well, I could talk about the Roman shades I made for the apartment in Canada that I almost never got to see again, but...
All right, well, next time.
Yeah, all right. Well, it's been a blast.
It has been. Thank you for listening to True Tales from Old Houses, the Minisode. Until next time.
See you next week on episode 102.